Welcome to this week's Quick Charge. In Joshua 6:25, the Bible says that Joshua saved Rahab, the harlot, and all that she had, and that she lives in Israel even to this day because she hid the messengers whom Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. There was something life-saving about hiding those messengers. God specifically sent two messengers to her. They were representatives of God himself, and they were, in fact, a message from God. But those messengers were in danger, just as the seed of the word of the Lord is always in danger, as we see in the parable of the sower. So she chose to hide them in her house rather than dismiss them. David, whose DNA flowed through Rahab, said, "I have hidden your word in my heart. I have hidden your message in my heart." The word hide there means to hide in order to protect, but it also has the idea of putting it in a high place. Those messengers were carrying the word of the Lord to her, and that was a life-saving word. So she put them on the roof in the highest place, and she hid them among the stalks of flax that were on her roof. You know, flax begins very dark and blackened, but it finishes pure white. First, it's pulled from the ground and then broken and then twisted and washed and pounded and finally combed. Now that flax was an emblem of her life. All of the bundles of her brokenness and all of the baggage of her painful experiences. But she determined, I will courageously apply the message of God to what is hanging on to me, looming over me, weighing down upon me. And I will do it even though it looks black and bleak at the moment. Now, to do that, she had to break trust with the king of Jericho because he was her ruler. The king of Jericho was demanding that she give those messengers up, that she hand them over, turn them in, and he's pressuring her so that he can take custody and control of the message from God. You see, all those old facts and all of those ruling symptoms and all of those former reports and all of that old order and those former situations, they continue to press us to give in, to give back, and to give up on what we've heard and what we know in God. But you see, we can't maintain an allegiance to an old message and a fresh word. We can't maintain an allegiance to an old thought and to the mind of the Lord at the same time, because that makes us double-minded, and then we're unstable in all of our ways. So she broke that allegiance by refusing to bow down to and to heed that which was old. She refused to listen to her old king, and this ushered her into her future in God that unfolded according to his own divine intentions. But why did God want her out of Jericho and into Israel? Why this one woman with such a dubious past and such a questionable reputation? Well, because God had reserved a place for her in the royal lineage. She actually became the great-great-grandmother to King David. In Matthew chapter 1, she is noted in the genealogy of Jesus. She was earmarked to become a figure, a generation in the lineage of the Messiah. This former harlot, former enemy of God, is now counted among his generations. And just as expected, what God did and what he brought her into was greater than what he brought her out of. All because she believed God's message over her old ruler. And you know, it's just the same with us. Our into is always going to be greater than our out of. What's in store, what's ahead, what's prepared, what we're moving toward is much greater than what we're coming out of. You can count on it. So I ask you, would you receive his message, his word for you today over that old situation, over that old report, that ruling symptom? Would you receive his word? Join me next week for another quick charge. God bless.